Now, meanwhile, the president's former fixer, Michael Cohen, looking at 3 to 5 years in prison after his surprise guilty plea today. In court, Cohen appeared to implicate the president in a federal crime, claiming hush money payments were, quote, in coordination and at the direction of a candidate for federal office. And the other was made, quote, under direction of the same candidate. But as we know, it is unclear if a sitting president can be indicted. So now what happens? Joining me, criminal defense attorney David Bruno. All right, so let's talk about Cohen first. Where do we go from here? Because, you know, this was a surprise guilty plea on an explosive news day. Right. And it doesn't seem like there's any goodwill left between these two men. So it doesn't appear there's a pardon in Michael Cohen's future. Has he flipped?
Not necessarily. There is no cooperation in the plea agreement itself. I mean, we have seen plea agreements like Papadopoulos and Flynn. They do include that paragraph. It's not in his. Okay, so where do we go next? He could be sentenced. All right, but yes, today he testified that it was at the direction of the president. However,
what does that mean? Because Rudy Giuliani says this is actually the best case scenario for the president.
I can't see that. I don't know. He did not develop it. He didn't articulate it. He didn't explain it. In the information itself, now when somebody pleads guilty, the federal government also presents to the court an information. It has facts, allegations. In it, it says that it was for the purpose of influencing the election and that there were multiple meetings between one or more campaign officials, phone calls and meetings. So it may not just be President Trump. There may be others. One has to think, is anyone else? Because Donald Trump's the only one that has the protection that a sitting president can't be charged. Some others don't have that same protection.
All right, but obviously there's a big difference legally and the scope through which the president could potentially be charged even after he leaves office, and the political damage, because, you know, if you're a Trump voter and you look at this, you say, yeah, we figured that he was screwing around at some point. That was all a known quantity when we went and voted for the guy. So, you know, if we separate the legal from the political, it seems as though the political fallout may not be that bad, but could there be considerable legal fallout?
Well, listen, this is a very technical law. This is not a straight-up campaign donation. This is in kind. There are many attorneys that actually dispute whether this was a campaign donation or not. That's why it's surprising.
And we've seen mixed reactions from legal scholars about these potential developments and how close they can get to the president and how much they hurt legally.
Sure. Listen, the fact that Cohen has agreed that this is a crime doesn't mean there's no more arguments that this is not a campaign contribution. That can still be made by any defendant that is brought into that court, right? So we shall see. We shall see if there's going to be any others. If not, he's going to be sentenced. And then will he be pardoned?
Well, let's talk about Paul Manafort a little bit, because obviously the jury had a very tough time in deliberations. The deliberation went on 4 days, longer than most people who were watching the trial thought they possibly would. They had a lot of questions for the judge. And, you know, obviously they found him guilty on 8 counts. Mistrial was declared on the 10 other charges. What does that mean for him?
Well, he has significant amount of exposure, right? Just the maximums. People have thrown the 80 years out. That is not going to happen. Absolutely not. This defendant does not have a criminal history. In the federal system, what happens is there are categories. They go into a crime offense. There's a guideline
range. Are there mandatory minimums here?
You know what? I'm not sure. Okay. I apologize for that. But as far as the max, he's not getting it. He will get decades, like you said. I think in all likelihood, the federal government will not prosecute the 10 other counts because they have to make a decision.
So you don't think they're going to go back?
Sure, I would not.
Okay.
I personally, I mean, why? Why? They have their flesh. They have the sentence that they need. They also have another case in D.C.
Okay,
why in the world go back to court on these?
That's my next question. How does this affect the next trial that's coming up very quickly for Paul Manafort?
Well, the special counsel's office has to make a decision. Are they going to continue to go after Paul Manafort? Right? They have a substantial sentence that they could get just based on these 10 counts. But if they're going to proceed, then they're just going to tack on years. Now, what are his options? he could potentially provide information. I don't know what that information could be, but if it's valuable, he could still engage in that negotiation.
All right,
with
but
special
he has to
counsel.
do a cost-benefit analysis here, and you know, he has remained loyal to the president. He has not turned on the president. He seems like the last person who's really facing serious legal peril who hasn't. And you know, perhaps he feels that his reward will be exoneration in the form of a pardon, whereas even if he flips and makes a deal with Mueller, he's still looking at time in prison. So
you're right.
If you're weighing the
You're
two,
right. That's a personal decision that he has to make. I don't know if there's been any discussions about the pardon. I hope not. But yes, it's a federal crime.
Yep.
These convictions can be pardoned, and it could be possible. That may be his best card to play.
Promises made, promises kept.
Yeah.
David Bruno, thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Great to see you.